I knew something was wrong the moment I stepped onto my porch and saw the empty space where my Amazon package was supposed to be. It wasn't just missing, it had vanished into thin air, like a magic trick performed by a neighborhood menace with sticky fingers. And then, as I checked my doorbell camera footage, my suspicions were confirmed. There she was, Karen, standing in broad daylight, wearing that smug, self-satisfied grin, as she plucked my package off my porch like it was her God-given right. She didn't even try to be sneaky. No hood, no disguise. Just a woman with the audacity of a cartoon villain, walking off with my package like she was doing me a favor. I stood frozen for a second, feeling my blood pressure spike. This wasn't just about a package anymore. It was the principle, the nerve, the absolute gall of this woman. My mind raced as I tried to remember all the stories I had heard from the neighbors, complaints whispered over fences, rants posted on the HOA Facebook group. Karen had been pulling this stunt for months, if not years. And apparently she had never faced consequences. My jaw clenched as I marched back inside, checking my Amazon order history to confirm what I already knew. My brand new high-tech gaming headset, something I had been waiting for all week, was now sitting in the greedy clutches of a woman who probably didn't even know how to use it. My doorbell camera app played the footage again. There she was, shoulder-length blonde bob, oversized sunglasses, and an expression of entitlement so thick you could spread it on toast. She tucked the package under her arm and strutted away like she had just won a prize. I was going to put an end to this. I took a deep breath, debating my options. I could call the police, but I already knew how that would go. A report would be filed, a board officer would make a half-hearted visit, and Karen would play the role of an innocent, confused woman who had mistakenly picked up the package, only to claim it had mysteriously disappeared. No, calling the cops wouldn't fix this. I needed to confront her directly. Grabbing my phone, I headed next door. The walk across her perfectly manicured lawn felt like stepping onto enemy territory. I rang the doorbell, and within seconds the door flew open. Karen stood there, looking at me like I had just interrupted her afternoon of counting stolen goods. "Can I help you?" she asked, voice dripping with artificial sweetness. I cut straight to the point. "Hey, Karen. I think you accidentally grabbed my package earlier." She blinked, feigning confusion. "Your package?" "Yeah. I saw it on my doorbell camera. You took it about an hour ago." Karen gasped, clutching her chest like I had just accused her of high treason. "Oh my goodness, that must have been a mistake. I thought it was mine." I stared at her, unimpressed. "Really? Because it had my name on it." "Well," she said, crossing her arms, "maybe Amazon delivered it to the wrong house." "They didn't," I shot back. "Because I literally saw you steal it from my porch." Karen let out a dramatic sigh, shaking her head like she was dealing with an unruly child. "Listen, I don't appreciate being accused of theft. Maybe you should check with Amazon instead of harassing me." I clenched my jaw. The sheer audacity was almost impressive. "All right," I said, stepping back. "If you're sure you don't have it, I'll just check with the HOA. I'm sure they'd love to see the footage." That got a reaction. Her face twitched just slightly, her lips pressing together as if calculating her next move. But before she could say anything, the unmistakable sound of a small dog barking like a demon from inside her house interrupted the moment. Karen glanced back, clearly flustered, and for a split second I saw it. The package, sitting on her entryway table. Still sealed. Still very much mine. I could have pushed further, but I already knew how this was going to play out. Karen wasn't going to admit guilt. She was going to double down, play the victim, and turn this into some absurd neighborhood dispute where I was the villain for daring to call her out. Fine. If she wanted to play games, I would play games. I gave her one last look, forcing a smile. "No worries, Karen. I'll take care of it." Her eyes narrowed slightly, sensing something beneath my calm tone, but before she could say anything, I turned and walked away. Back in my house, I grabbed my laptop and opened the neighborhood Facebook group. It was a goldmine of frustrated homeowners venting about package theft, and as I scrolled through, I found what I was looking for: post after post about missing deliveries, all happening within a 3-house radius. My blood boiled. She had been doing this for a long time, and somehow she had gotten away with it. That was about to change. I quickly typed up a post. "Hey neighbors. Just a heads up. Caught someone on my doorbell cam taking a package off my porch today. If you've had packages go missing, I'd check your security footage. I'll be sharing mine soon." Within minutes, the post blew up. Comments flooded in. "OMG, was it Karen? I knew it. She took my daughter's birthday gift last month. Can we please do something about this woman?" I sat back satisfied. The seed had been planted. But this was only the beginning. I had no doubt Karen had seen the post. And I had no doubt that she would find a way to weasel out of it. She always did. But this time, I wasn't going to let her. I needed proof. Solid, undeniable proof that she was behind all of it. And I knew exactly how to get it. That night, I put my plan into action. I took an empty Amazon box, tucked a small GPS tracker inside, and placed it neatly on my porch. It was bait, shiny, irresistible bait, and I was willing to bet my next paycheck that Karen wouldn't be able to resist. I set up my camera feed, dimmed the lights, and waited. 30 minutes later, movement. There she was. Karen, peeking out of her house like a raccoon sniffing for food. She crept onto my porch, looked around, then swiftly snatched the box and scurried back inside. Gotcha. I checked the GPS. The package was now inside her house. I grinned. "Oh, Karen. You just made a huge mistake. Because tomorrow I was going to give you a package you'd never forget." The plan was simple. If Karen wanted to keep stealing my packages, I was going to give her a package she would never forget. I sat at my kitchen table, phone in hand, as I dialed the one person who could help me execute this perfectly. Mark picked up on the third ring, his voice groggy from what I assumed was another late night of watching conspiracy theory videos. "What did Karen do this time?" he asked before I even had a chance to say hello. "She stole my Amazon package." Again. There was a pause, then a sigh. "Of course she did. I need your help," I said, lowering my voice as if Karen had my house bugged. "Something extreme. Something she'll regret." Mark was quiet for a second, then I heard a faint chuckle. "I think I know exactly what to do." By the next afternoon, I was standing in Mark's garage, staring at a plastic box filled with exactly what I needed: an entire colony of angry, buzzing hornets. "This is insane," I said, watching as Mark carefully secured the box inside a larger Amazon package. "This is justice," Mark corrected. "Think about it. Karen loves taking things that aren't hers, right? Well, now she's going to take something she really doesn't want." I could already picture it. Karen, smug as ever, sneaking onto my porch, grabbing the package, rushing inside, and the moment she opened it, chaos. Pure, unfiltered chaos. Mark had designed the box perfectly. It had a small, spring-loaded mechanism that would snap open the second she lifted the lid, releasing the swarm into her home. The hornets were already agitated from being transported, and once they were free, they would have only one mission: sting anything that moved. "Just to be clear," I said, watching as Mark sealed the package with a perfectly printed Amazon label, "this isn't going to, kill her, right?" "Absolutely not," Mark said confidently. "Hornets hurt, but they're not deadly unless she's allergic. And even then, she'd have to be really unlucky." I thought about it for a second, then nodded. "Good enough for me." That evening, I set the trap. I placed the package on my porch, angling my doorbell camera for the best possible shot. Then I went inside, turned off the lights, and waited. I didn't have to wait long. At precisely 9:17 p.m., movement. Karen, the suburban gremlin that she was, emerged from her house like she had some kind of sixth sense for stolen goods. She crept across the lawn, her eyes darting around to make sure no one was watching. She approached the package, hesitated for only a second, then snatched it up and scurried back into her house. I leaned forward, my eyes locked on the screen. Any second now. And then, it happened. Through the slightly ajar blinds of Karen's front window, I saw the exact moment she opened the box. 1 second of stillness. Then, absolute, unhinged pandemonium. Karen's scream pierced the night like a siren, a mix of rage, terror, and sheer disbelief. A second later, the front door burst open, and Karen came flying out of the house like she was being chased by a serial killer. She flailed wildly, slapping at her arms, her face, her legs, as if she had just been set on fire. Behind her, the unmistakable swarm of hornets spilled out like a living nightmare, filling the air around her in a buzzing, angry cloud. She tripped over her own feet, went down hard on the grass, rolled, then scrambled up again,